So in working with the four elements practice, as you know, we're cycling through the different elements. And when we do the earth element, we want to build up to where we can hold clearly all six characteristics clearly, distinctly at the same time. And this takes time to build. So if that's still, you're not quite there, then just start with the pairs and then try to add a second pair. So do four and then mix and match there. So not always the same two, and try them and see if there's one pair or one characteristic particularly that's not quite as developed or doesn't advance as easily. That can tell you that's the one to develop a little more. But you should get to where you can hold and feel all six at once. And once you can do that, and with each of the elements, when you can feel fully each of the characteristics, then you start cycling through earth, water, fire, and air. Earth, water, fire, air. And just keep cycling through those. And with each time you say, like earth, all six characteristics should be appearing in your awareness. And the same with the others, the two for the other three should be appearing clearly. And so you just cycle through. Some of the things that can happen when we're cycling through is it can, and even working the characteristics, it can kick up memories, associations related to some of the characteristics or the element. So there can be memories coming up, beliefs, opinions, things like that. And like any meditation, we stay with the object. So we stay with the elements, allowing these phenomenon to arise, and they'll pass away after a while. The one thing that can come up in this practice, which is interesting, is we can have pre-verbal memories come up. Because part of the establishment of the body boundary, the skin bag is me, is that started when we were pre-verbal. So a pre-verbal memory is a memory that arises where it's like there's a live picture we're experiencing or seeing, but there isn't concept, there isn't ideas, there isn't story, there isn't really memory either, but it feels like a live picture in a particular way. So just know that's part of this process too, that we're releasing these memories, these opinions or judgments, whatever they are. But just know the nonverbal can arise as well. So basically that becomes the practice, is cycling through the elements themselves. In reading through my notes before this retreat, when I did the practice, I was instructed to cycle through. I was supposed to try to get 20 complete rounds in a minute. So basically every 3 seconds, which is incredibly fast, as you can imagine. I'm not sure I ever got there, but that was the instruction. But the idea is you want to move, when you get it real clearly and they're distinct, you want to move at whatever is a pretty good pace for you, whatever is a stretch for you. And again, you want to have quality while you're doing it. So you don't want sloppy characteristics, you want them to be very clear. So don't go any faster than that. But there's something about that cycling that moves us deeper in access concentration. The jhana factors increase and our concentration increases. And then there's the possibility of the development and appearance of what's called the crystal body. When I first did this retreat 20 or 25 years ago, and I mean, there was very little in English about any of these practices, and so when the Sayadaw would tell me, oh, I want you to do this, and I'd say, okay. I mean, half the time I had no idea if I could even do it or what it was, or it was just sort of like he'd say, oh yeah, do 20 rounds in a minute. I'd be okay. And then I'd say, like, who knows if I can even do 1 round in a minute, you know. And then at one point they said, oh, the crystal body may develop. And I was like, okay, no problem. So I'm just cycling through, and that was enjoyable enough because I was deep in access concentration. And all of a sudden it did begin to happen and I can't really talk about the process, but there's a process where just cycling through, not getting caught in the stories or memories, this basically our body turns into a crystal body, a body that's completely clear, looks like basically glass or crystal, see-through, and it's my experience was the characteristics would appear in the crystal body as I was doing the elements. They would start, sort of flashing wherever. And anyway, it happened. So I'm just going to give you that instruction. There's more to it than that, but I think that's enough. Enough of you are getting a good head of steam that I want to just let you know that's where we go with this. And you don't do anything with the crystal body, meaning you don't form it, you don't imagine it, it's not anything to do with you. You just go through the 4 elements and keep going through at whatever is a good pace for you. And we'll see what happens. It seems like the practice is developing well for the group, so I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some crystal bodies in the next few days, but never know. Always a mystery.